The cost of alcohol in Israel is set to go up this week, but good news, the cost of crying softly into your pillow is still the same price. Welcome to another stupid week. Hi everyone, my name is Ari Kraus and welcome to another stupid week. New year, new government, and how did Bibi kick off 2023? The same way he left 2022, trying to get his coalition partners to stop calling gay people animals. The coalition negotiations may be over, but the coalition's stupidity continues. For all the updates this week and every week, stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Like I said, the new year kicked off with more than a few of Netanyahu's coalition partners and supporters responding very negatively to the election of the Knesset's first gay Speaker of Parliament, Amir Ochanan. The Prime Minister did what he always does in this situation, condemn the statements of his partners and act that it is totally normal to be fighting with these people every single week on whether members of the LGBTQ community are people or not. Elsewhere in Jerusalem, the new ministers were taking their offices this week, and the new transport minister, Miri Regev, took charge of her office to rescue Israelis from the traffic jams that are plaguing the center of the country. And she did this with some bold moves, like changing the colors of the office back to blue and white from purple. Outstanding. But wait, Miri Regev wasn't finished just yet. She also announced that she would be investigating whether public transport lanes were being fully used and why they sit empty while other drivers are in traffic. There's been quite a bit of data in Israel about how public transport lanes are very well used, and she should know this because she's been public transport minister in the past. But Miri Regev really distinguished herself this week with a quote that sounded like it should have come out of an Israeli version of Parks and Rec. When she was describing these experts, she said, "Clerks are just clerks, legal advisors are just legal advisors, and experts are just experts. We're here to govern." Have you ever heard a more stunning indictment of representative democracy in your entire life? It wasn't all fun in decorating your new office for some of the ministers in Netanyahu's new government. Aryeh Deri, the Minister of the Interior and Health, has barely started to put up new curtains, and he might not even get to keep the office. The High Court had heard a petition this week questioning the legality of him serving as a minister in the government after his many criminal convictions. The judges pointed out that quitting the Knesset as part of a plea bargain, then only to run for office and become a minister in the government 9 months later, didn't really pass the reasonable clause. And they also pointed out that the leniency in his sentence was because he promised to retire from public life. I don't want to live in a world where you can't trust a multiply convicted politician on his word. Deri's lawyers defended their position, saying that his bribery conviction was 20 years ago and his tax fraud conviction wasn't considered to be malicious. Listen, I'm not a lawyer, but if I was, I first of all wouldn't be making these videos. But second of all, I'd go to the judge and be like, listen, you can't swing a dead cat in this city without hitting some government official that's been convicted of bribery or corruption or just isn't a nice person. We're gonna let every one of those people be disqualified as ministers? Sure, Deri's last conviction was only 9 months ago, but look how much has changed in the last 9 months. Twitter's ownership, Tesla stock, the number at the end of the year. Let's give Deri a chance. What are the chances that someone with his history is going to commit another crime in the same exact circumstances that he committed all the other crimes? And in What is the United Nations Blaming Us For Now news, the UN Security Council met this week to discuss a Jewish person visiting a Jewish holy site. Sure, that Jewish person was Itamar Ben-Gvir and the holy site was the Temple Mount, but doesn't the UN have better stuff to do? Last I checked, Russia's still invading Ukraine. The meeting at the UN headquarters in New York was formally requested by China. Yes, China, the paragon of virtue and religious freedom. And the United Arab Emirates on behalf of the Palestinian Jordanian missions, which are not members of the Security Council. This meeting is still quite ridiculous considering that they don't hold meetings every single time a Palestinian actually kills someone. I mean, what really happened here? Itamar Ben-Gvir, who again is a terrible human being, all he did was visit a Jewish holy site as a Jewish person. Fortunately for us, the Security Council, which is currently chaired by Japan, has not issued a formal statement or resolution responding to Ben-Gvir's visit. The UN is so useless that even when they call these stupid meetings, they can't get anything right. This story actually brings me to the main thing I wanted to talk about. Itamar Ben-Gvir, or as I like to call him, Israel's Cartman. What I resent the most about this whole story And what I think is going to happen a lot in the future is I'm actually going to have to defend him in some way or another, even though he is a human slug trail. This is your brain on the United Nations. This shows that Itamar Ben-Gvir will serve one good purpose in this entire government, to just show the difference in rhetoric when it comes to extremist Israelis and extremist Palestinians. I'm going to just keep doing this throat clearing, but Itamar Ben-Gvir is a terrible person. He was convicted of incitement and racism, and the Israeli security services has cited him as a security risk. But he's considered the radical, whereas the Palestinian Authority is not considered radical, even though they have programs like Pay to Slay, which they euphemistically call the Martyrs Program, the Martyrs Fund, which is, again, a euphemism for paying terrorists to commit terrorist acts. In a sane world, Jews not being able to visit a Jewish holy site freely and pray there freely would be the controversy, not the other way around. At the moment, the unwritten policy governing the compound lets Muslims pray and enter with very few restrictions, but Jews are only allowed in at certain times, on certain paths, and if you're even caught whispering or assumed to be whispering a prayer, you will be escorted out by Israeli police. So, how about this? Let's hope that Itamar Ben-Gvir kind of decides to not be a terrible person all of the time, and let's hope that the UN Security Council finds better things to do than target Jewish people for visiting a Jewish holy site. Is that likely to happen? I mean, I guess you can wish, but it seems a lot like 2023 is going to be a lot more like the same BS in 2022. But now with an extra number. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's my show. Stay tuned for all the updates on this and more. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all the other stuff you're supposed to say on social media. I also have an Instagram somewhere I'll post. And thanks for watching. Take care.